still a Delver mirror match, which means the games will periodically come down to someone getting wastelanded out.
Castor going to start with a Ponder. Looks like both players have kept their opening hand, so see what Kenny wants to do here. Definitely some back and forth. You know, Stoneforge Mystic plays a huge role in this matchup. Once you get a batter skull into play, things get pretty difficult for the opponent. But things can certainly change on a dime here as well.
I think Blue, White, Red Delver has the highest raw power of any of the Delver strategies and the least cohesion.
A Wasteland there from Sukenik, taking down the Volcanic Island. Castor's going to sacrifice the Misty Rainforest. We'll see what land he wants to search up here. Going to go with the Tundra.
If you want to play a Delver strategy because you want to do the best job of leveraging Daze and Wasteland, this is not the deck to play. But if you like just having really powerful cards in your Delver deck, this may be for you.
That's a Delver of Secrets. So the clock is now on the table. Sukenik draws a copy of Training Nemesis. He'll sacrifice a fetch land himself. This is Scalding Tarn, as Sukenik does tie things up. Both players at 19. And we'll see what Jonathan wants to search out. It'll be the Volcanic Island. We'll see what he wants to cast here. He's got a Grimlock Mancer of his own. His in his sideboard, but he's drawn at this game. Also looking at a Red Elemental Blast as well.
A lot of options, trying to determine how much he cares about Daze. I like leading with the Lava Mancer here quite a bit, because if it gets dazed, you kind of don't care, because if it doesn't get dazed, it's probably getting Swords of Plowshares or bolted. So this is a good test spell. I'm sure Jonathan would be happy if it got dazed, and if it happens to stick, that's great too.
Castor's Delver will not flip. Drew a copy of Wasteland for the turn. Going to deploy his own Volcanic here. We'll see if he has something like a Lightning Bolt to get that Grimlock Mancer off the table. Fort Bolt will do just fine. Sukenik's going to go down to 18. Now here's an attack for 1. Sukenik is going to go down to 17. Jonathan will draw a card for the turn. It's a copy of Stoneforge Mystic. And you do see the Tundra in his hand that he brought forward.
Now this is, you know, I think Jonathan was probably intending on going to this turn and using Red Elemental Blast on that Delver of Secrets, but now, you know, Castor didn't have the daze last turn. He drew a Stoneforge Mystic. There is some charm in just going for it.
And he didn't reveal a daze.
Yeah.
To Delver of Secrets, of course, if he did, that thing would be flipped. So looks like maybe the green light is on. He'll give it a shot. Castor can take a long look at his hand. Again, a Wasteland among them. And it's a Brainstorm. So hit 1 and 2 and 3. Couple of dazes and a True Name Nemesis.
All right, never mind. But Jonathan did take a good risk there, I feel like. It felt like the odds were good that there was no daze in the hand.
What we learned is that Brainstorm is a really good Magic card.
Yeah.
In case people had forgotten. Daze will take care of that. And Sukenik, and all he can do is pass the turn back over to Castor. Trigger the Delver. That's going to flip as he reveals a Pyroblast. I love the fact that he doesn't reveal one of those dazes. Hide that information. Here's an attack for 3. Sukenik's going to go down to 14. Castor going to play a Tundra and deploy a Stoneforge of his own. Now he's coming at Sukenik from a couple of different angles. Sukenik's now got to answer an Insectile Aberration and the fact that a Batter Skull could be looming.
And all this is, I mean, if this board is good enough to win Kenny the game, I'm sure, of course, he would take it. But all this is about is getting in the shots that you can so that your True Name Nemesis doesn't need that many turns to get the job done.
Sure.
Because you have to be worried about True Name Nemesis plus equipment on the other side of the table. So all the points of damage that you get in early on in the game, they really add up because you're just trying to shorten the length.
Castor going to go with a different piece of equipment. I thought he may search up Batter Skull, but actually searches for Umezawa's Chite. Both pretty powerful cards.
And most likely searching for Umezawa's Chite because he assumes that his Stoneforge Mystic will just die if he gets a Batter Skull.
Sukenik will cast a copy of Brainstorm. So 3 cards coming. 1 is a Tundra, 2 is a Batter Skull, and 3 is another copy of Tundra. So 2 cards will go back here for Jonathan.
Brainstorm locked, and those cards are no help.
So he puts 2 cards back relatively quickly. Deploys a Tundra. And looking at a Spell Pierce, a Daze, Red Blast, True Name of his own. True Name is quite the card in this matchup, but can he get it into play?
These decks have surprisingly little ways to answer True Name Nemesis. I mean, there's some Pyroblast in the sideboard, there's Daze and Force of Will, but the deck is not that robust against True Name Nemesis.
Red Blast will take care of the Delver of Secrets. Castor will draw. Picks up a copy of Ponder. Again, we know about the GT in his hand, but you can see Sukenik did have access to a Wear and Tear a little early in the game, but it's no longer there. It looks like it may be on top of his deck. There's a Wasteland to take care of the red source. That's a bit of a beating.
These decks are so, mana light. They need to get to 3 mana. And there's no plateau in the deck. So there's no way to get 3 dual lands into play such that you're Wasteland proof from getting cut off of the color. Comes up all the time, and it's happening right now to Jonathan. 3 Tundras in play.
But a True Name that he can cast. But he elects not to. There's a GT. Castor will draw. Grim Lavamancer is what he's found. Still has a Daze over there. Ponder as well. Castor wants to get a little look at the graveyard, make sure he knows what's going on. What he needs to play around potentially.
Well, if he goes and equips the Jitte this turn and Jonathan has Source of Plowshares, it's Kenny's whole turn.
Yep.
So there is some risk of going for it here, even though it looks like the coast is clear. Kenny may just want to do something else with his turn altogether.
It looks like the coast is clear, but it doesn't feel like the coast is clear. Here's a Ponder.
We know it is. Jonathan's hand's about as bad as it gets for this situation, but
got to represent strength. So Kenny could have some interest in Spell Piercing this Ponder. And it looks like he will. So there that goes. Here's an attack for 1. Sukenik's going to go down to 13. And Castor just going to simply pass the turn back. So Sukenik will draw a card. It's a copy of Batterskull.
This was the concern I had about not casting the True Name Nemesis last turn from Jonathan's side. I guess he's doing it this turn. He knew he was drawing Batterskull, so if it's not this, it's going to be... If it's not this turn, then you're either saying go again or you're walking into the same card you were playing around last turn.
You see the exchange there. Pyroblast targets True Name Nemesis. Sukenik dazes. Castor dazes back. Castor wins the war, and now the GT comes across. Now it gets 2 charge counters, and now Castor's pulling ahead.
Now, Jonathan still has Wear Tear in hand, so he's able to find red mana. All this nets out to is Kenny got to gain 4 life. But he needs to find it soon. And it does cut off a lot of his creature draws as well.
So Sukenik's Ponder here shows 2 Ponders and a Brainstorm. So that's mighty interesting if you're supposed to take all of those cantrips, or if you just try to shuffle and try to find a red source.
At the minimum, he can take the Ponder and get a redraw. Though it would mean that he's not casting Wear Tear this turn, even if he finds red mana. He might not care. Again, all this nets out to is Kenny gaining some life. But this is a tough 3 cards to shuffle away here. There's so many looks and so much versatility.
Yeah, it's hard to pass up those cards.
Yeah.
Just shuffle those away. And Sukenik will not do that. He will draw a Ponder.
I also don't mind the play of just saying go, pondering next turn, and looking at the maximum number of cards, and it looks like that's what John's going to do.
Castor will draw. Time to come across. Will he pump up the jam? At least once. And maybe twice? Yes. 5 damage it is. 2 charge counters back on the GT. Castor going to redeploy the Volcanic, play a Grim Lavamancer, kick it back over to Sukenik. Sukenik begins his turn on 7 life. Now here's a Ponder. So 1 is a Daze, 2 is a Pierce, 3 is a Brainstorm. Pretty quick shuffle.
He has to shuffle that away because he's Ponder / Brainstorm locked. No way to shuffle the deck. And at this point, he does not have the time to engineer another, take this brainstorm, ponder again next turn. He needs to find an answer for the Chite right now.
Mystery card. That's an Arid Mesa. That's a big draw. That's the red mana he's looking for to cast where on that Jita now. The question, of course, now is how greedy can Sukenik get? Can he cast a Brainstorm first and then cast where and hope that his opponent doesn't have days?
Well, I think Jonathan's end game has to be getting this Batterskull into play regardless, so you're likely not beating a Daze anyway. So the way this works is you sacrifice the Arid Mesa, you go to 6. You untap, Stoneforge Mystic gets you down to 5. Lava Mancer activates down to 3. If you draw running lands, you can get Batterskull into play, and it's in time.
And I like the Brainstorm plan here. Yep, I'm a big fan. So 3 cards, 1 a Wasteland, 2 is a Bolt, 3 is a Daze. Now what to put back is a little difficult. Because I'm with you, I think the grand plan is Batterskull. I think it almost has to be.
And if that's the case, he needs to just take the 5th land. He can shuffle away the Wasteland and the Batterskull, or shuffle away the Daze and X, I feel like.
How much does that Bolt provide?
Not a ton.
But because he shuffled away the Wasteland now, so he doesn't have the 5th land for Batterskull. He has to peel the 5th land now. And that's a touch risky.
Yeah, I think the plan may be, if I draw a 5th land, I'll play it. And if not, they'll just bolt the Lava Mancer and hope that I find the 5th land or a blocker for the Stoneforge Mystic in time.
Sukenik's going to cast where on the Chite. Castor will take a look at his hand. It looks like he's going to gain his 4 life, go up to 23, and then his legendary equipment from Kamigawa block will go to the graveyard. So where does resolve? Now Castor going to rub his hands together.
He knows he's got Jonathan on the ropes.
Oh,
just
yeah.
one more good draw and he's got it wrapped up.
Looks like he drew his copy of Wear and Tear. And even though that doesn't look all that great, given that Sukenik's plan is the old Batterskull, and there's the land, this is not the out that Sukenik thinks that it is. Well, there's a Bolt to take care of that.
And he elected not even to go for it.
Could have played a land there as well. This could come back to hurt him in case Castor draws a card like Wasteland. But Castor drew a card called Lightning Bolt, and he's going to go for it upstairs, and that is going to do it. Kenny Castor is going to win this match over Jonathan Sukenik. 2-1. The blue-white red Delver mirror goes to the player on the right, and for Castor, he moves on to 8-3. Still alive here for top 8.
These are still threat cards. I think that helped a lot. I like the Lava Mancer in his list quite a bit.